3, 2, 1.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. On the way to the office. Good morning, everyone. New product has turned up in the post. I'm very excited to get my hands on it. So let's head into the office and get it all set up and ready to go. Morning. Okay, so here it is in its nice discreet box, so let's get it open. Ooh. So this is the new triple rung from Lattice, an upgrade on their previous model, and I'm so excited to get into it and psyched for training. But this got me thinking about the history of training, because as climbers we've all used hangboards, but how did that whole thing get started? Back when climbing started, training wasn't really a thing. Climbers trained by climbing, discovering the limits of the sport, themselves, and what was physically possible. But as the potential for harder climbs became clear, the thinking started to change. Muscles and movement were no longer enough. People needed to train their finger strength and go into more specific training. A manual written in the 1980s by John Bakker explored training more closely. It was called Training for Stone and was part of a wider document by Crimpd Equipment. Now this talked about specific training and fingertip hangs. In fact, Bakker was actually photographed using a hand-built rudimentary hangboard. In the UK, absolute legends like Jerry Moffat and Ben Moon were building their own climbing walls and training centres. They linked up with other training pioneers such as Wolfgang Gulick in Germany. Grades began to tumble, new lines were found and the sport had evolved. But climbing hangboards stayed pretty basic and hardcore. They were built by the pros for other pros and athletes and featured fiendishly small holds and monos. This was not for the normal climbers. Resin molds were used for some of the first commercially produced boards. In the 1990s, Metolius invested in a CNC machine and started to produce molds for mass production. But wood was at the heart of training boards. In the UK, Ned Fahely and Dan Varian started to design wooden hangboards, with wood that was kind on the skin and radioized holds that avoided finger injuries. In 2007, the guys produced the first Beastmaker boards, and this was developed into the 1000 and 2000 models. Nowadays, loads of companies are producing their own systems, so you can pick and choose the ones that suit you. Although there are differences between them, they all aim to train your finger strength and grip strength. So that brings us up to date now. In 2020, the world has gone crazy for climbing, training. There are training plans, new tools, and a heck of an amount of data. And that's where Lattice comes in. Lattice is a coaching company started by Ollie Torr and Tom Randall. They wanted to take training to the next level by bringing science back into the systems. They collect data, they share it around, and you can buy a whole load of training plans and products from them to get you into top shape. This is the new triple rung from Lattice. It's got an improved jug hold on the top, which is 45mm in depth, and it's flat, so you can prop up a phone or a watch on the top of it. There's a standard 20mm Lattice benchmark rung down the bottom, and in the middle a new 10mm edge for small hangs. The board itself has been widened, and we can see this when comparing it to the old double rung model. This is better for people wanting to do wider pull-ups or wide dead hangs. On the face of it, the triple rung is a better all-round board than the double rung. That's because you can progress on this board as you get better, and beginners and experts can use the same system. 20mm, 10 mil. These are numbers I'm chucking at you, but they've been debated and decided on by Lattice. This has become the standard for their boards. But that 20 mil is the standard for other systems as well. It's on the Beastmaker 1000. So is there a difference between the 20 mil on a Lattice and the 20 mil on a Beastmaker? And while I'm thinking about it, 10 mil, why is that the small hold? Why isn't there a 6 mil or an 8 mil? Who decides on these standards? Now, these are questions I cannot answer, so we're going to go to the expert, Mr. Tom Randall, who hopefully can give us some clarity.
So when it comes to choosing the type of edge for fingerboarding that you're testing on, really there's two standard sizes that we thought were really important. There's 10 mil and 20 mil. And at the end of the day, you have to come up with a standardized size. So it needs to be good for the function. It sort of needs to be fit for use. And in terms of maximal testing, we chose 20 mil because this adequately loads across the last part of your finger. So that full pad of your digits and kind of covers all 4 fingers. So it's a nice even load across the fingers. So really, really good testing. You do very heavy testing. And then for the 10 mil edge, we wanted to come up with something which could load around half of a pad. And that works out at being around 10 millimeters. And it seemed like a good kind of halfway measure to go between 20 mil. One of the things that you'll notice with the Lattice testing edges or training edges is that there's a very specific front radius on that edge, and it's very different to a lot of other fingerboard brands, especially the 20 mil. And we designed it in this way so that it's very hard to cheat. So to be able to hang the kind of skin off and get lots of extra friction. So a much more reliable scientific way of doing that finger strength testing.
Okay, so that's the board installed. Now we want to use it. Now all the Lattice rungs can be used with, although not exclusively with, the Crimpd app. Now the Crimpd app is on my phone. It's a free download. Now if you wanted to upgrade your training program, you can buy the Lattice Lite plans, which is more personalized. And you can get those with the double rung on the EpicTV shop for an absolute bargain. But right now we're on the triple rung, so I'm going to find some exercises on the app that will complement those holds. So the Crimpd app is split into sections, and if you buy that Lattice Lite plan, it tells you which exercises to do that week. But we're just finding some, so I'm going to go down to conditioning, upper body, and I want something for that jug, so I want a pull-up thing. I'm going to go for on the minute. So this is 5 pull-ups in 5 sets, and you have a minute rest between them. It's quite a basic exercise, but a good one for that jug and for warming up. Time to get chalked up. Okay, on the minute, 5 reps of pull-ups, 1 minute break, 5 sets in total. Let's do this. One minute. 5 more. Okay, done, that's logged. I'm gonna do some kind of a finger one next, and on that 20 mil edge, I think that's the place to go. So one of my favorites is called body weight repeaters, and this can only be found on the Lattice Lite plan. You do 7 seconds of hang, split with a 3-second rest 3 times. You then got a minute off, and then you repeat the whole thing 6 times. You're meant to do this with body weight really, not weights. Let's get to it. Oh, half crimped as well. Prop it on the thing. Turn the volume on, of course. You've got to give those rungs a brush, especially when it's new. Just get a bit of chalk in the grain. Okay, done. That really builds itself up. Okay, I'm gonna have a little rest, and while I do that, I'm gonna find something for that 10 mil edge. Final one, and I'm excited to use that 10mm edge because I haven't actually used it before. Now, rather handily, there's something in the Crimpd app called small edges, which is between 10 and 13mm. And that just shows you don't have to have one of these boards to do these plans, but in my opinion, it does kind of help. So with this exercise, it's 7 seconds of hanging with a 2-minute rest, 6 sets. Okay, so I'm gonna get it going, prop it on top, do some small hangs. Okay, that is all done. Just a little workout, mainly to show you guys about the new features of that board. I've really liked doing this episode because as I've been researching it, I've been researching all about the training history, and what I've discovered is how much of a community that is within climbing. You start training and you enter a whole new world, and products like this really help with that. Now obviously I've got to try that board more. This is the first time we've got it up, but I do trust the Lattice systems. I believe in their methods, and I can't wait to put some hours in on this board. Of course, there's a link down below to everything that I've chatted about today. You can grab it from the EpicTV shop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.